All right, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. We should be here today for the monthly Simplex-IT Office webinar. Today's topic is Be an Outlook Ninja. So we're going to talk about some of the advanced features of Outlook, some of the stuff that you might not use every day. You know, we always use Outlook to check our email and reply and do reply all. We might file some emails in some folders, but we're going to get into some stuff that you may or may not be using all the time. So if you have any questions or anything you want to bring up, certainly feel free to type that in the chat window. If you're not familiar with using Skype, I know we've got a lot of first-time users on this webinar. So if you're not familiar with using Skype, down at the lower left corner of your Skype window, you'll see there's like a little conversation bubble. And if you click on that, it'll pop out this conversation window and you can type in a question to me or a comment to the audience. So feel free to do that. I have muted the audio for the participants, so just to cut down on any background noise. So if you are trying to interject and ask a question, just type that in the chat window, and then I can always unmute you as we go on. But we just find that that helps with some of the background noise. All right, so without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started? So like I said, this is our monthly Office webinar. Obviously, we try to do these monthly. And we also do a PM webinar as well. I'll talk about that in a minute. So I noticed, again, that we have a lot of new folks here. So this is what we like to call our NASCAR slide. So this is all of the great partnerships we have with all of our great vendors. Should Simplex-IT be your IT department? Well, we sure hope so. So if you can answer yes to any one of these questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to help you out. I know we've got a lot of current clients on the phone already, so hopefully they can speak to our great service. We have got a lot of topics, a lot of events coming up for the first part of the summer here. The next webinar we have is our PM webinar that we do once a month, like I said. And next week we'll be talking about the accidental project manager. I love this title because a lot of us are thrown into this role, right? So you know, you may have another job title, another list of responsibilities. But yet you also have to manage projects within your organization. So these folks are what I like to call the accidental project managers. So our webinar next week is going to be focused on them. So just what you need to know to finish projects on time, within budget, and just the bare basics when you don't have all day to manage projects. So that's a great one. Please register for that. I'd love to see you on that webinar. And then we are bouncing all over the great state of Ohio in May, talking at the Ohio Society of CPAs. So we'll be in Dayton talking about a couple different topics: Columbus, Youngstown, Cleveland. If you're a CPA and you're involved in that organization, please join us at their annual conferences. If you see us on the agenda, please join our event. After that, we've got another webinar. Our next Office webinar is actually, it's kind of going to be a fun one. I thought it might be fun to lighten things up here in June. We're going to talk about perfecting graphics in Outlook. I've recently found that I've done this a lot. I'm not a graphic designer. I don't have any graphic software. But occasionally when I'm doing a blog or a webinar or something in Word, I might have the need to you know, change the color of a graphic, or you know, might want to make it grayscale or lighten it up to make it a watermark. Just simple things like that you can do with graphics in Office, and it just makes it a little bit faster than having to switch to another program, make your changes, you know, in whatever program you use, Photoshop or Paint or what have you, and then import it back into your Office program. So we're going to talk about that. I think that'll be a fun topic. Our PM webinar next month will be on Office 365 Planner. I'm really excited about this one. This is Microsoft's new PM tool, and we're really looking forward to diving in on that. We'll be back talking in Akron about Office 365 to the Ohio CPAs. And then June 21st, another exciting event. If you've been following our journey here to find a new office, you'll know that we already found one. We're moving at the end of May, and we'll be hosting an open house on June 21st. So if you're local to the Northeast Ohio area, We're moving from our office in Hudson. We're moving just a few miles south down to Stowe. Same road, actually, just a few miles south. So we'll be having an open house, inviting everybody out to join us, to welcome us into our new office. We're looking forward to it. And then we're actually going to be partnering with our friends at Cozy at the end of June. We presented this at the Cozy annual conference last year, so if you were able to join us for that, thank you. And we're going to be doing it in a webinar format in June. So the topic is business software trends. So what tools are out there to help your business grow. So please check us out. And again, just a reminder, check out our event calendar for all of our events. So I add to that as soon as we commit to an event. I usually put it out there with the registration. So if you register for our events, then you'll be sure to get the reminders and the connection information and so on. Services from Simplex-IT. I know that a lot of you are probably familiar with the IT portion. So obviously your virtual CIO, we handle all of your IT needs. But some of you might not be familiar with the other two branches. So we also have Simplex DBA, and Doug Tombo heads that up, and he ensures that the health, performance, usefulness of your data is as good as it can be. And then Simplex PM is what I head up, and I like to gear this towards project managers at small to mid-sized companies. So just helping those folks use the tools that are available, like Microsoft Project Online, Office Planner, and some of the methodologies that the big guys use for the small to medium-sized businesses. So if you have any questions about those tools or want to chat about project management or portfolio management, please shoot me an email. My email is up there on the screen for you. All right, enough about Simplex-IT. Let's talk about Outlook. So today I want to talk about a few topics here. One is advanced search, which you might be already familiar with this. I contemplated adding this, but I think it's still an important one. So we'll talk about advanced search in our inbox and how to find messages, especially when you don't necessarily remember who they came from or when you got them. We'll talk about filters and rules and how those are different. We'll go over sharing and delegating and the differences between those. I do want to talk quickly about quick steps. We'll talk about quick steps and how those can help you keep your inbox organized. We'll talk about groups, how to archive, what clutter is, and then, I must really want to touch on quick steps since I have it in there twice. So we'll be sure to talk about quick steps. I just noticed that. All right, I'm going to switch over to my Outlook here. And I could tell you that I have let my inbox go so that I could show you all these great organizing tips and tricks, but really this is just my fault. I tend to organize my inbox once every couple of weeks, and I try to be good about it, but like anything, things get busy and I don't always get to file things where I'd like to. So one of the first things that I wanted to talk about was search. So for advanced search, the first thing that we can do, you'll notice that I'm using Office 2016. I've got my toolbars up at the top. Underneath the ribbon, and I'm sorry I said toolbar, that throws me back to some of the older versions, but I've got my ribbon at the top with my tabs. And if I wanted to search for something, as soon as I click in that search field up at the top of my inbox, it opens up this search tab. And this is where all of my advanced search features are. So here, if I wanted to search for, here, let's see, I must have searched for Cozy. It remembers everything that I had searched for in the past too, which is nice. So if I wanted to search for Cozy here, I can click on Cozy, and I can see all of the emails with Cozy, either in the subject or in the content or what have you. Now that my advanced search tab is open, I can use any one of these fields to sort of search a little bit more. So, for example, if I click on Search Tools, I can go to Advanced Find, and this brings up a window that I wanted to show you, where I can look specifically in messages. I can look in contacts, in appointments and meetings. I use this one sometimes when I know I've had a meeting with somebody, a vendor, let's say, and it was 6 months ago. I don't remember when it was. I don't even remember their name. But I might want to, try to put in something in the subject and try to find it. So I use that a lot too. But for the most part, we're probably going to be looking in messages. You can control where it looks in your inbox, and you can search for specific words. You can also specify if you want to search in the subject field or if you want to search also in the message body, which I tend to do more so both, because sometimes I don't remember what the subject field was. If you know who it was from, you can click on from and you can specify who you want to search from. So I know Bob sent me something about webinars, and let's see. And I don't know when, or let's say I think I received it in the last week. Okay. So I'm searching for a webinar. It was from Bob. I received it in the last week. I can click find and it'll search for anything that meets that criteria. And then if I have a list, only found 2 within the last week, but I can double click on the one that it found, and it finds my email from Bob. All right, that particular email was saying that we were having some trouble with our email reminders going out, so I apologize to you if you did not get the email reminder this morning. I tried to send them out shortly after 9, and I don't think that they got delivered until about a quarter to 10, and some of them still didn't get delivered, so I apologize for that. All right, so advanced search. So you can, like I said, type in the search bar if you want. 9 times out of 10, that really does the trick. If you want to get in and further refine it, then you've got all of these options up at the top. So you obviously have from, subject, if it has attachments or not, if it's a specific category, if it was this week, who you sent it to, if it's unread. If you have it flagged, important, and then more gives you all of these other options. So you can really drill down on what you're looking for. So I always kind of cringe when people say, oh, I know I have this email, but I can't find it. Because even if you know anything about the email, you can usually have enough information to find what you're looking for. All right. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about filters and rules. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and close my search here. And I'm going to go back to my home tab. And over towards the right, I have filter email. And I can click on filter, and I can filter in on emails. Maybe I just want to look at on things that are not read, or any email that has an attachment. Now this is a little bit different from sort, which sort will just sort everything. Like if I picked has attachments and sort, it would put all my emails that have attachments up at the top and all my emails that don't have attachments at the bottom, right? It sort of groups them together. It sorts them by which ones have attachments and which ones don't. With filter, it's going to filter out the emails that don't have attachments, so you won't see those at all. And it's just up to you which one you prefer. Here, if I want to filter in on anything that has attachments, here I don't see everything. I don't see the emails that don't have attachments. So again, it's nice. It kind of goes along with searching. If you're searching for something, sometimes maybe you just can't zero in enough on a search, and you want to use filter instead. So filtering a little bit different than sorting, where it removes everything from the view. Now it doesn't remove it from your inbox, it just hides it from the view when you're filtering. Just like if you were to filter in Excel, where it hides certain bits of information. And then under the filter email button, like I said, is where you can see everything that you can filter on. And then of course more gives you everything else that you can filter on, the same as search. Now, rules are similar to quick steps. So I wanted to talk about rules. Quick steps are kind of like quick rules, if you will. But let's take a minute and talk a little bit about rules. So right now, I happen to have an email selected from Bob, and if I click on rules, it automatically wants to kind of create a rule from all messages from Bob because that's the one that I have selected. But I'm just going to go ahead and create or click on create rule just to show you this window. So let's see. So here I'm just going to step through creating the rule. When I get an email with the selected condition, so when I get an email from Bob and the subject contains nothing, it doesn't have to be anything, just anytime I get an email from Bob. And it's sent to, let's say, only me. Or I can change it to, maybe if I had a group. Then I can do the following. I can display it in a new item alert window. I can play a specific sound. This one is nice too. If you've got a hot client or maybe you're working on an issue with somebody and you want to be alerted when you get an email about that, this is a great way to do that. If you get a lot of email, sometimes those email notifications just get diluted with all the other emails that you're getting and everything else going on in the day. So this is a really neat one. I've used it a few times when I've been working on an issue with somebody. So play a selected sound and then you can browse for the sound. Or you can choose to move the item to the folder. So I had years ago a great idea of every time I got an email from a few certain people, I would move it to a specific folder, which is a great idea. But for me, I never looked at that folder, even though I saw that there were things in it. It wasn't in front of me, so that didn't work well for me. But I know a lot of people that do that it works really well for. So I guess you just have to decide, what's going to work best for you. Sometimes I will create rules for things like receipts. If it's a certain website that I have a lot of orders from, as soon as I get an email with order confirmation, I'll move it to my orders folder. Things like that are kind of some real life examples of when I might use it. Let's see, if I click on rules and I don't have any emails selected, I can click on manage rules and alerts and it'll bring up the window for me to create the email rules. So by having one selected, Outlook sort of thinks, all right, I'll help you out and create a rule based on what you have selected, or at least start one. But if you don't have one selected, then you can just click on new rule and that gives you all of the options. If you're interested in learning more about these rules or you want to dive into this a little bit deeper, let me know. I was contemplating doing just a rules webinar. Might be a little bit shorter, but focus just on rules. So type that in the chat window if that's something that's interesting to you and you'd like us to do that. I'm just going to click cancel here. I'm not going to set up any of these rules, but you can see that it's, you can move messages from somebody if it's a specific person or with specific words and all of your other options here. All right. The other thing that I wanted to show you is in the info tab. Also from the info tab, you can access rules and alerts here as well. Okay, so I can click on rules and alerts and it brings up that same rules and alerts window. So you don't necessarily have to be in your inbox to do that. But under account settings, there's a couple different options that I wanted to talk about. One was delegate access. So delegate access is a little bit different than, I don't know why it's saying Outlook must be online. But delegate access is a little bit different than sharing. When you choose to share a folder or your calendar, that allows people to be able to view your calendar or your inbox or whatever you have. If you go under share calendar, with share you can share it with other people, and they can view your calendar. They can even add items to their calendar, but they still always, they're still doing it under their account. With Delegate, you're giving them permission to act on your behalf. So if you work with somebody and you're going to be out of town, you can delegate access to them to be able to send emails or calendar invites on your behalf. So use that one carefully. Sometimes share is better if you just want them to be able to, maybe have access to your calendar. But if you want them to be able to send emails on your behalf, then that would be Delegate. And that works well if you have an assistant, maybe that might be setting up appointments for you, or you actually do want them to be able to send emails on your behalf. The other thing that I wanted to show you here from this account information tab is the cleanup tools. So this is something that has been around forever. You're probably familiar with archiving, but I did just want to mention it because there's some really neat automated ways to clean up your inbox. So if you go under Cleanup Tools and you look at Mailbox Cleanup, here you can find and narrow down specifically on what you want to clean up. So if you just want to empty deleted items, you can do that here. If you want to just look at how large your email is or find items that are, older than a certain number of days and delete those, you can here as well. Also from Cleanup Tools, you can archive. So you can move old. Now from Cleanup, that'll remove anything that you do decide to clean up. From Archive, it'll just move it into your archive folder. And so you can specify a certain date, so move any items older than whatever date you choose. There is a flag, do not auto archive, so if you check that, that'll omit any emails that have that checked. And then you can click OK and it'll archive it in that folder. Now if you're using Office 365, you have virtually unlimited storage space for Outlook, so you may not have to do this, but if you're working on an Exchange server, sometimes your admins will set a specific amount of space that you can have, and archiving then becomes very important. So you may start to get messages that your inbox is getting too big and you need to archive or clean it up. So that's a quick way of doing both of those. The other thing that I wanted to mention, two other topics very quickly. One is clutter. This isn't an advanced topic by any means, but I did just want to mention it because it is fairly new. So clutter is like, I think of it as in between junk and inbox, where it's not really junk, but I try to use clutter for things like newsletters, updates, things that I want to get around to reading. I don't want to delete them, but I don't want them cluttering up my inbox. So you can use clutter when you're in your inbox. You can use it by dragging any email into clutter, and clutter is supposed to learn what you think clutter is, and then it starts to take on that behavior without you having to do it manually. It sounds like a great idea. I tried to use it. It worked fairly well for me, but I didn't use it a whole lot. I've talked to some other folks and they just did not like it. Said that clutter was, classifying things as clutter that really weren't, and just wasn't really working out right. So I would say if you're going to use that, use it with caution. If you have clutter and there's nothing in it, it just means that you're not really using it yet. But as soon as you start to use it, as soon as you drag that first email over into clutter, it's going to start building its memory of what you consider clutter to be. If you have any problems with clutter, let me know. There's a few folks at the office that have become experts with that, so we can always point you in the right direction with that as well. All right, the last thing that I wanted to mention then is quick steps. So we talked about rules, and then I kind of got off track. I wanted to mention quick steps. Quick steps are kind of, I think of them as quick rules. And so it's just when you get an email, there's you can specify what you want to do with it. So let's say that if I click on, whoops, I accidentally just filed one. That's all right. If you select an email, so you can choose, let's see, I can reply and delete to this. So this was um, Kevin's blog post that he wrote from his Sophos trip up in Vegas. I could reply to that and delete it. I don't want to delete it though. So I could just click reply. But any one of these quick steps, I might want to forward this to my manager. Any one of these are supposed to be designed for just a one click and done. Um, so let me find a good one here that I can reply to and delete. How about this one? This was a message that I don't necessarily want to save, so I can click reply and delete. I can reply to this person, and as soon as I click send, it'll send the reply, which I'm not going to do. It'll send the reply and delete that message. So the quick steps are nice. They're exactly what it sounds like. Quick designed for you to just be able to click on it. I like the team email that'll forward it where you can type in an actual team name. Oh, and that does remind me too, groups are something that's fairly new as well. So you'll notice in my inbox here, I've got some groups set up for our office move and then one for our test plan. So if you have any groups set up through Office 365, you can see them here as well, and then you'll be able to manage your emails that come to and from groups right in your inbox as well. All right, so that takes us through about our half hour together. So thanks for joining us. I do have a prize though for those of you that can hear me. Let me go ahead and cue everybody up here. If you are wanting to participate in the Office 365 giveaway, go ahead and pull up your chat window. I'll give you a minute to do that. Remember that was that if you're looking at the Skype screen here, that was the little bubble down here at the bottom. Pull up your chat window. I'm going to ask a question, and then the first person to answer wins. And you will win an Office 365 one-year subscription. If you're already using it at your office, it's completely transferable. You can you can give it away, or you can use it at home if you want to keep them separate. Remember, Office 365 is great because you can have it installed on up to 5 different devices. So let's get started here. I'm going to ask you a quick question. So if you're ready, hands on the keyboard. What was your favorite topic from the webinar today? We'll go ahead and type that in, and the first one to hit enter. Oh, wow, lots of good ones. Looks like you answered first with advanced search. So congratulations. Robert, if you registered with the email address, or I'm sorry, I should say we'll contact you with the email address that you registered with. If that's not the one that you want to use, go ahead and type in another email address and we'll contact you with your winnings. So congratulations. All right, everybody, thanks for joining again. Don't forget, next month on June 9th, we'll be talking about that graphics topic, just perfecting graphics in Office. So I'm really excited to talk to you about that. If you've got any other ideas for webinars, please type them in the chat window. We're always open to doing webinars based on what you want. So let us know that. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.